Is the circuit breaker finally over? Is it safe to come out now? Is the economy still moving? Let's find out from someone now. And now we have Khoo here, who is running his family business in Singapore. Hello, Ping, how are you?
Very well, Dylan.
Yes, can I call you CP? I heard that is what everybody call you.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so CP, can you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself?
All right, a short introduction. I'm currently managing a family business which is involved in the marine and shipping industry. Basically, what we do is just service provider, manpower, ship chandler, etc. So we belong to the SME category of it.
And now that the economy has reopened and we have heard Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and 3 other ministers came out who made speeches about what is going to happen next, about economy. So as an SME in the very important maritime industry, what are your thoughts after hearing those speeches?
Well, maritime is actually critical to Singapore's economy. It has always been. Um, During this, I was hoping to learn more of Singapore plans to navigate out of this stormy weather and the roles each citizens can play to steer out of this crisis. However, after hearing 4 speeches, um, I don't get the feel of how we are charting and direction that will steer us out of this economic situation.
Oh, Ping, so what do you find is missing in the speeches?
Well, we do not have a Doctor Strange in Singapore to know the one possibility that will make this work, nor do we have a crystal ball. But I guess what we require is sort of an engine of growth, certain direction that the country is heading towards, and so that the citizens can align, work with the institution and the government, and to boost this certain sector of the economy that's viable. There, in my opinion, there's no locomotive now, and there's a need to inject a new crew to check the train and ensure it doesn't derail. So basically, we need to have new direction, new course, and certainly I would like the government to give us the headings.
Yes, with the COVID crisis, we all know the economy has taken a downturn, and the way it's going to reappear or re-emerge is going to be vastly different. The way we work, the way we consume products has changed greatly during the last 2 months.
That's interesting, Dylan. Actually, the way we work is something which I'm also pretty concerned for our fellow citizens. Now, given the fact that you are able to work from home, and if that business model or the business isn't really affected by employees working from home, then there is a caution, then there is a possibility of a job loss to overseas. So if, in short, the job scope can be easily or can be physically displaced. So it is not a replacement by, say, AI, but a displacement of jobs to other countries. There's no stopping employers of SMEs or MNCs to actually hire overseas personnel to handle this job, since it can be worked from home.
You are right, and I recall reading an article recently. In fact, a Facebook post by SMRT feedback by the Vigilante that says that coding industry is boundaryless. People should not be quoting based on Singapore salary because the people doing the work are international. You probably outsource it to another countries where they are doing coding for you at $5 an hour. So that will affect actually the gig economy as well as a lot of SME, how they work and where they source their product.
So this is nothing new, Dylan. I think we do have telemarketers, we do have call centers that's already been outsourced to various countries around the region. So my concern is, what jobs is viable to be located in Singapore and not being displaced? And therefore, I would like the current government to actually, address these concerns, where there are jobs that will not be easily displaced and is also sustainable in future.
Correct. We really need the government to take the lead, invent or create new industry for us after this post-COVID world, and to equip the citizen with an ecosystem of skill to survive in it. And the government has released 4 budget amounting to up to $100 billion to help us to fight the COVID and to save jobs, they say. So, Japing, maybe you can share with us what do you think about the 4 budgets? Whether it does it really help us?
Yeah, Dylan. Well, I understand and agree that saving jobs and mitigating mass employment is the top priority we need to assess and closely monitor the current position and health of each industry. So the resilience and fortitude budget, in my opinion, should be more targeted, meaning high income earners should not be entitled to the handouts. So there is an issue here where it is just across the board, everybody gets the same amount. Then industry like mines, which is dependent on global situation, again, it is my opinion, should not be sustained because we can't see the end of the we can't see the light in the tunnel. So basically, how long can we do this and whether the mines will bounce back? I think that nobody can say for certain. A part of budget should be carved out to accelerate plans that are critical to Singapore's survival. For example, I think food sustainability is something we should look at. Just like when we gained independence in 1965, water is critical. Right now, the global disruption in supply chains has actually taught us that food is also an important part.
Japing, you're right. The MICE industry and hospitality travel industry is really in trouble. Well, at least for the next 1 year. We really need some innovative ideas from both the government and private sector working together to help everyone. We have to come up with out-of-the-box solution. Some people may have to change the way they look at MICE industry as a whole. And MICE could be a very technological driven industry moving forward. So what do you think the government should also include into their budget and planning to improve the economy?
Yeah, Dylan, maybe it's not really about the budget, but we have to look into the policies and regulations that we're having now. Example, probably we should tally the decrease of numbers of employment pass and S pass holders versus the Singaporeans losing their jobs or being retrenched. Because part of foreign workforce policy is to cushion such economic shock, and we need to check if the policy is working.
Yes, Chapping, I'm glad you say that. I'm sure many people agree with you that the solution is not just throwing our taxpayer money at the problem. We need a new and innovative ideas from the government to help us all through this crisis.
Yeah, innovation is always the key word, the go-to word when economy is not doing well. But again, when the government tries to have everyone jump on the same trampoline and get a bounce back, the trampoline will lose its elasticity. So perhaps we need a doctor or scientist to invent a serum like what Captain America had and empower each citizen to propel themselves to greater heights rather than using a trampoline or waiting in line to get on the escalator.
Yes, we definitely need somebody who is upright, honorable, and righteous to lead us through. I wonder where is our Captain Singapura now?
True that, Dylan.
And talking about all those value, DPN Tharman has spoke about social cohesion in his speech recently. And what do you think about cohesion and the economy?
I don't think it's anything new. I've read many things about social cohesion as well as racial harmony. I think this has been taught during our times in primary school and the racial riots days and whatever bus riots you have, exams riots you have. So we are actually saying what we are, it was actually referring to what happened 70 years ago. And it is, although it's a stark reminder, it is important. But as of now, I think for me, or as a layman, I really look towards a more concrete plan as to how we're going to chart ourselves or the country out of this situation.
Yes, but I do really miss the good old days of the old guards where they have real foresight and they take care of the people first rather than economy. That is why social cohesion was so important then. Okay, Japing, thank you for taking the time to come on today's show.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. See you.
Bye bye.
Be safe.